Every year in May or early June, the ice breaks on the Santa Cruz River in Tucson, Arizona. In the local parlance, that means that the official city temperature has hit triple digits for the first time that year. And then the temperature goes from warm to bake to fry, usually hitting 110 degrees around the time of the summer solstice. And all kinds of heat-loving desert animals begin to make their way through the prickly vegetation in search of food and water. And that's when a special breed of runner crawls across the desert floor to the foot of the Painted Hills on Tucson's west side to test themselves against some of North America's highest temps at the Painted Hills 12-hour foot challenge.
"12-hour foot race challenge."
The Painted Hill 12-hour fun run.
Painted Hills 12-hour foot challenge.
Painted Hills 12-hour foot challenge. PH12HRFC, other way around. PH12HRFC. Painted Hills 12-hour PH12HRFC.
PH12HRFC. PH12HRFC.
PH12HRFC, PH12HRFC, PH12HRFC.
PHFRC 12.
Painted Hills 12-hour foot challenge. Painted Hills 12-hour foot challenge. PH12HRFC, PH12HRFC.
I even picked up this sticker and I should be reading it in front of me. So there's just too many letters.
I've done hot weather runs a number of times and I kind of enjoy it, or at least I used to. Maybe not so much now that I'm older. But in my prime, I really liked running in the heat. And so I was like, well, let's make everybody run in the heat. So I try to, or I don't try, I do pick the day that's closest to the summer solstice. In Arizona, or southern Arizona anyway, our hottest day of the year is usually the end of June.
All of the rules? Because there are a lot of rules. So basically, it's a 12-hour foot race challenge, and it's from Bruce's house. And the first loop is 3.5 miles, and you do it as a group, and it starts at 6 a.m. and you come back, and then it's a 1-mile loop around the house. And there's a magic beer fridge, and you can't drink from the magic beer fridge. And you can't do more than 60 loops or miles, I think. Otherwise, that's too many. That's too many miles, and you're disqualified.
I got the email from the Painted Hills 12-hour foot challenge brought by the West Side Trail Runners and Social Club, which doesn't exist. I definitely want to participate, but this is just so unhinged. Like, all of these rules.
One of the things that makes this great is all his funny little rules.
The funny little rules are emailed to PH12HRFC participants before the run each year. There seem to be about 10 of them, so let's have a look. Okay, let's start at the beginning. That would be funny little rule number 1. It's pretty much the nuts and bolts of the PH12HRFC. Funny little rule number 1. Run as many laps as you can in 12 hours, starting at 6 a.m., last lap beginning before 6 p.m., but the last lap can end after 6 p.m.
What a cool challenge to do in the middle of summer when I'm not really motivated to run really hard or run really fast. I want to do it because I've never really done a timed race before, and because it was a local race.
This is what's called a fixed time event. The time is constant and the distance is variable. Probably 90% of the races out there work the other way around. The distance is constant, but the time varies. The faster you go, the less time it takes, the better you do. In a fixed time event like the PH12HRFC, everyone has the same number of hours, but the distance varies. So the further you go, the better you do.
It's going to be done at 6 p.m., so I'll just push until then. So having that end time felt better than almost like a distance or something like that, because you're like, it's going to end. It will end at a certain point.
No goals for today. Usually I come in with kind of big goals.
I don't go in with any goals. My goal today was just to learn everybody's name who was here.
So I turned 35 next month, so I was like, all right, maybe I can try to do like 35 like miles or something like that, because that'd be like 30-ish loops, because then there's the 3.5 miles. Because I want to be careful, because I haven't done this before, and I don't need to like end up lying flat on the side of the road. So I was like, let me aim for something that seems feasible over the course of 12 hours. I'm very competitive with myself. I can be competitive with other people if I want to be, but I think I'll just see what the atmosphere is like, because I think that's kind of the fun thing about doing a challenge or foot race like this is like, it's the atmosphere. So I can kind of see like if they're wanting to push it, like I might come along for the ride.
Well, my goal is 50K, and I'll get to 50K. Maybe I should make my goal to get in a few more miles just so I'm probably not going to get to my PR, which I think is 40 or 41 miles. I'm probably not going to get there, but we'll see. We'll see what place I'm in when we get going. See how hot it is.
Maybe I got to keep up with Chris. I don't know.
First lap is run from the start, across Speedway, and through the Painted Hills and back to the carport start-finish line. First lap is run as a group at the pace of the slowest runner, but please, no walkers on the first lap.
The first lap isn't the 1 mile loop. The first lap is this 3.5 mile loop where we run in the actual Painted Hills, which are over on the other side of Speedway. And that was actually my wife Carolyn's idea, to include that. At that time, Painted Hills was privately held, but we were trying to get it into the county park system. There was a developer who had a plan, had platted a subdivision for the hills. She suggested, why don't we go over there and then, take a minute while you're over there to tell people about the issue, just to get the idea out there. And so that's what we did the first couple of years, and then actually the county miraculously did purchase the land in the end, and now it is a trails park, and now there's a trail over there instead of just bushwhacking around on Jeep roads like we did the first few years.
All right, onward. Now the good part of the trail.
I have run some 50 milers and a couple 100 milers. My name is Joe Dana, Joedana. I personally walk the whole thing, but that's a problem that I have. I haven't been able to run for about 8 years.
If you are 80 years or older and your name is Joe, you may begin walking 1 mile laps at 6 a.m. You may also petition for this allowance if you have a good excuse. Example, 80 years or older and a name other than Joe. That prevents you from running first lap.
I'm 88. A good year would be if I could stay moving for at least 11 hours. The number of laps I get is immaterial. It's just I like to keep going around, keep moving. As long as I stay hydrated, that shouldn't be a problem. As long as I can keep my umbrella up and the sun off me and keep moving, I feel if I get 11 hours, that makes for a good race.
Second lap and the rest of the run begins only after all runners have returned from the first lap. Generally takes about 45 minutes. The okay to begin the regular 1 mile laps around the neighborhood will be given by the run director after the final runner returns. Stay put and be patient. Chat with your neighbor. Heck, have a cigarette. There's no need to run the first lap fast. You'll just have to wait around when you get back.
Yeah, have fun!
Going for good handwriting this year.
It's such a special event. It always throws something great at you and something that's just like physically brutal.
I was happy when I saw that I wasn't very far down.
It put me all the way down.
Rookies!
I know.
That's where the rookies
I'm down.
I think it's probably more different than similar to other runs that I've done because I've never done like a time race before. I've never done something that's such a short loop.
I was someplace the other day and somebody asked if I was doing this event. And I was telling me, said, oh man, I never got an invite. And it's just kind of a funny little thing because people have heard about it and even though they hear about it, I don't necessarily know if they really want to do it, but they seem like there's an interest in just because it kind of sounds like a kind of a crazy thing to do. You're out there with these people that all kind of think this is a great thing to be doing, which is kind of really a stupid thing to be doing. When you really look at it, it's like, oh, let's go run, mile laps in the heat of the day around this paved loop. But you have all these, 40 other friends or people that think this is a good idea too, and it's like fun.
The people who crank out these 60-milers and stuff, they're awesome, but really it's about just getting all the knuckleheads and everybody out there, from people just walking a couple laps to people doing 60 miles. That's just the beauty of it.
So how many times have you done this event?
How many times have you held it? 11? I'm X minus 1. I've done it 10.
Chris Fall, age 62, 8-time PH12HRFC participant, and only participant originally from Alaska.
What was your best year?
The year I won. The hottest year on record. Might have got close to 40 miles that year. Don't remember, but it was, that was by far my best year. It was my longest year, so it was the best year. But certainly last year I absolutely cramped up and crumbled and fell over out on the course. So I was actually over on the other side of the course, 3/4 of the way through the loop. Everything from below my waist to my toes cramped up, and my upper body even cramped a bit, just lack of water and salt, whatever. And I tipped over, and that's when Bruce came and rescued me. I believe maybe Steve-O rescued me as well, came with water. Oh, the nice people that have the beer cooler brought me out a thing of pickle juice and was all of a sudden an ultra-marathon expert that said, just drink this pickle juice and you'll be fine. Well, I finished, I crawled in and made my way to the couch in the house and proceeded to drink at least 3/4 of a gallon of liquid over the next hour while I laid there. I think I got 33 miles and I did the 30 laps, so I scored the magic beer fridge 3 times. Just don't do well with liquids and fluids, so in general, so the heat sucks it out of you worse, so no, I don't do well in heat.
I think I did maybe 3 years in a row, and then I missed some years, and then I had I think maybe another 3 years in a row, something like that. I think they were kind of chunks.
Michelle Hawk, age 56, only PH12HRFC female with the most laps overall, accomplished in 2014 and 2015.
57 miles, I think, was my best year, but I had 3 years in a row there where they were all 50 or above. I don't know if I've actually had what I would consider a worse year. It's just been different degrees of injury. I mean, probably some of the worst years are the ones you're out there for 12 hours and by the end you're pretty cooked.
This event I've done, I believe, 4 times at Bruce's place. And then I did 2 times when it was moved to the east side.
Joe Dana, age 88, 5-time and oldest participant in the PH12HRFC. Every year Joe Dana has attended the PH12HRFC, he's broken the record for the oldest participant.
At this race, I believe the most miles I did was, I think I did 28 the first year. What was my worst year was probably the last year that I did it here. And it was just, I just didn't keep hydrated properly. I don't think I did a whole 12 hours that time. I think I quit a couple hours early. I think I only did 14 or 15 miles.
I'm feeling really good and getting the most out of this experience. I've done it 6 years now, and I can remember every little weird thing about every one of those years.
Ben Marquardt, age 43, 3-time participant, 3-time most laps for a man, and only participant to reach the 59-lap ceiling.
Everybody who had been there at least one of the years I did it is here, and that's super cool.
This is my first time doing the 12-hour foot challenge, so I just learned about it relatively recently, so it's all new to me. I really don't know because I've never really done anything like this before, so I don't really know what to expect.
Caroline Bartlemy, age 35, PH12HRFC rookie, but no stranger to the local ultra scene, having been the previous champion of the 50Ks at the Colossal Vale and Oracle Rumble.
I think the event is definitely going to be challenging for me. I've never done anything like this before. I mean, I've done a 50-mile race, but that was in the mountains in Flagstaffs. I've never done like any sort of timed race before. I've never done it in the heat of the summer.
I've never done a 12-hour timed race before, and I've definitely never done a race in the summer.
Sarah Dasher, age 42, a PH12HRFC rookie who took a 5-year break from ultra running to raise 2 children, but who has impressive podium finishes at the Old Pueblo 50-miler, Zane Grey 50-miler, and a sub-24-hour finish at the Western States Endurance Run.
I'm excited. I don't know. It's the whole point for it to be hard, right? So I got my icy bandana. I don't know if the evaporative cooling is going to work, but the ice on the arteries should work.
So my goal every year has been to crank out a 50K, and usually I add a lap or two just for kicks. And I've been very consistent about that, except for the COVID year, the one year I won with 2 laps, as opposed to Chris, Carolyn, and Denise's 1.
Bruce Gungle, age 65, 9-time participant, PH12HRFC run coordinator, and runner with the most overall miles at 299. After the first lap, go on to complete as many 1-mile laps as you can in what remains of the 12 hours. Your last lap has to begin before 6 p.m. Completing 1 lap at any time between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. is completing the challenge. You won't get a trip to the magic beer fridge, but you will have finished. Congratulations.
One day when I was out running on my own and measuring the different distances, back before GPS, I just take the car and drive my running routes to see how far they were. I discovered that my neighborhood, even though it's not a square block, it's a very irregular route, but around it and up and down a couple of hills was exactly on the button 1 mile. And I was like, wow, we could do one of these timed races on my neighborhood route. It would really be fun to do that. And right, it depends upon your idea of fun.
Before the first hour is over, we all start off on this 1-mile loop from Bruce's patio. I tend to like doing it in the clockwise direction, so it's just head out and just keep taking rights until you get back to Bruce's house.
You can go either clockwise or counterclockwise on the loop. It's a complete loop that starts and finishes inside the carport at Bruce's house. I traditionally almost always go clockwise. So clockwise out of Bruce's house would be a right-hand turn onto Blue Agave maybe road. Anyway, it goes up a hill for 200 yards, and you descend a hill for 100 yards. Take a right-hand turn, and it's flattish until you get to the base of the climb. On the flip side, at mile 0.3, you climb the hill. It's a relatively steep hill that I almost always walk, except for the first couple loops. Get to the top of that hill, and then it's a kind of little jogger, slight uphill past the Bashani aid station till you get to about the halfway point of the loop, and you descend downhill to the nice people that always provide the cooler of beer for us and the towelettes and goodies. And then take a right-hand turn on Painted Hills, and then run up to Bruce's house and take a right-hand turn into his driveway and finish with the carport. Verifying that you crossed the line by the chalkboard to verify that you completed your loop, and then you're capable of walking back to the carport and supplying and doing your thing.
It's not a flat course by any means. It's kind of a rolly course.
I actually was planning on driving it, so I kind of had an idea, but I heard it's hilly, basically hilly and hot. But I do know that there's like an aid station along the way.
It's a hilly course. Yeah. If you did a 10K on this course, do not expect to set a PR.
Let's say you're lazy or hungover, or otherwise want to sleep in, or just don't want to run the first lap. No problem. Come on over and start anytime after the first lap runners have returned. At 8:15 a.m., over 2 hours in, the front of the run is starting to take shape. Former overall champ Michelle Hawk and rookie Caroline Bartlemy have 12 laps apiece. Former champ Chris Pye Fall, rookie Sarah Dasher, and former champ Ben Marquardt are on their heels with 11 laps. Steve-O and former Rita Ranch Foot Challenge champ Tristan Lee are at 10, followed by a dog pile of 9 runners with 9 laps each. And overhead, the clouds are starting to burn off.
And there's a magic beer fridge, and you can't drink from the magic beer fridge. And there's like, for every 10 miles, you get a beer from the magic beer fridge. But then if you don't do the first loop, you don't get anything from the magic beer fridge, or you only get some. It counts against you, basically.
Oh, and the magic beer fridge, that's like another part of it. I'm not even sure where that came from. I guess it was just a way to get people to show up the first year, was to promise them beer if they did some running.
For every 10 laps completed, including first longer Painted Hills Trails lap, the runner gets 1 trip to the magic beer fridge after the run ends.
The way it works is that for every 10 laps you do, you get 1 trip to the magic beer fridge. So it's a lap thing, not a mileage thing.
The magic fridge is, if anybody doesn't know, that's where you're rewarded by the number of laps that you do.
The first lap of the run is 3.5 miles plus or minus over into the Painted Hills themselves. And that counts as just 1 lap. So your first 10 laps is 9 1-mile laps plus about 3.5 miles. 3.5 plus 9 is 12.5. So your first trip to the magic beer fridge is 12.5 miles. So, for example, if you want to get to the magic beer fridge 3 times, you don't run 30 miles. In fact, you run a 50K and then some. So it'd be 32.5 miles. We call that beer can calculus. Now, not everyone shows up at 6 o'clock and does that first lap. So by coming late, they can't just run 10 laps, do 10 miles, and get a trip to the magic beer fridge. That's not fair to the rest of us. So they have to do 13 laps for their first trip to the magic beer fridge. Subsequent trips to the magic beer fridge are 10 miles.
If you are one of the lazy or hungover ones who decided to sleep in and skip the first long lap, for your first trip to the magic beer fridge, you must run 13 1-mile laps.
This year I'm going to shoot for 2 trips to the magic fridge.
I'm at 33 miles on my Garmin, and I currently have 3 trips to the beer fridge.
But the magic beer fridge doesn't open until, and I quote, after the run ends. And that's over 6 hours away. In the meantime, the runners have to get through the heat of the day.
It's gonna be a swamp. We're gonna melt.
I feel like I'm cheating a bit because it's overcast. But not anymore. I'm doing good. It's been really fun. You get to talk to a lot of people on the way.
Oh, living the dream. Living the dream.
Feel hot and bothered. I'm going to have a cold Mountain Dew. And that's going to help.
Hairspray and white teeth says hunker down. So we hunker down. Yeah, we hunker down. Said an angry lady is coming to town. So we hunker down. Yeah, we hunker down. Francis, you can leave anytime. My street is dark and
this is a technical term, a shit ton of popsicles in the freezer. Please help yourself.
Don't you hurt my babies, but take my house away. You're a slow motion rider. You're an angry witch. You're a sister of Andrew. You're a cousin Mitch. Francis, you can leave anytime. My street is dark and a mile wide. There's a whole state needs to see sunshine. Needs to see sunshine. Needs to see sunshine.
I mean, people were eating popsicles at 10 a.m. Usually we don't do the popsicles till like noon.
Well, we know it could have been worse. Down here it's just a fact of life. They call it a tropical curse.
How am I feeling now? I'm hot, but I feel okay. You know, I'm not at a point where I think I should quit. But if I get to that point, I will quit. It's terrible. This is one of the more difficult ones because of the humidity.
There was a box of these mango creamsicle things, and I think I had at least 3 of those, at least.
I think 5. I think it was 5. And the mango cream one was the best.
I was rooting for 110 degrees, but this year it was like by 8:30 or 9, the humidity just absolutely sucked it out of me. The morning was brutal for me. My voice went bad, which is an indication that I'm dehydrated. I was laying down in the house.
It was pretty miserable this morning. I was amazed how much I was drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking, you know, kind of thing, just because I mean, it was pretty amazing to be out there and see how wet some of the people were. I mean, there was a couple of people who looked like they'd been swimming. I mean, it was just dripping off them, and it wasn't that hot, it's just the humidity.
At 2:05 in the afternoon, the chalkboard is nearly halfway filled with hash marks. Caroline leads Sarah 34 laps to 32. Former overall champ Michelle follows Sarah by a lap, putting 3 women and 2 rookies in the top 3 positions 8 hours into the run and with 4 hours to go. Tristan and Ben are tied for tops on the men's side with 29 laps apiece, while Jason and Steve-O are another 2 laps back of them. Then there's a traffic jam. 3 men and 2 women are tied at 24 laps. Alaskan Chris Pie Fall, the surprising champion of the hottest PH12HRFC ever in 2017, is tied with Fernando at 23. Behind another traffic jam of 22-lap runners is the PH12HRFC champ from the inaugural year of 2012, Tom Grom Gormley, with 20 laps. And over the mountains, the clouds are gathering.
If the storm comes in, it'll be fine. I think if the storm comes in and we get rain, it'll drop the temperature a bit, and I think it'll make it a lot easier for me to get 8 more laps. If you look back to the east, pretty dark.
It was a really funny day weather-wise, which I think also helped split it up a little bit, since the morning it was kind of humid and then the sun came out, but then the monsoon rolled in.
The monsoon started today, and we could see the rain building over on the east side and see lightning strike. And we got about 3 drips of rain, but then about 45 minutes later, the skies opened up and it poured rain.
The conditions are bad. Visibility 3%. The rainy glasses.
We just got monsooned. I was soaking wet from the humidity before, now I'm soaking wet again. I'm tired. I'm a little cranky because I can't see when it's raining. But otherwise, I'm feeling really good and getting the most out of this experience.
It was a wonderful afternoon, but the monsoon was absolutely fantastic. I got revived. It was wonderful.
Everybody stack underneath.
In my gauge, we got 0.54, so over a half an inch of rain. So, I mean, on June 22nd, that's unheard of around here. I mean, we're going to have record precip for June, I think, this year. And it's unusual for it to be this humid at this time of year. I mean, this early in the monsoon. It's usually at 0.00 in June.
And so then it was like, well, how do we make it so that it's not competitive? Well, okay, so you can run a lot of laps, but then for some reason, you shouldn't be able to go any further than that. So one of the rules I came up with was that you could only do 60 laps. If you did more than 60 laps, or if you did, I can never remember if it's 59 or 60, but somewhere around there. If you do more than 60 laps, then you can do that, but you don't get any awards.
And then the one time I did 59 laps and he made me stop. That's the rule.
Well, not exactly. The person with the most laps from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. gets the buckle, or the trophy, up to 59 laps. But anyone who runs 60 laps or more forfeits everything. All trips to the magic beer fridge, all trophies or belt buckles, all other awards, and does so all in exchange for PH12HRFC bragging rights. If you decide you just can't last until 6 p.m. without drinking a frosty cold carbonated fermented malt beverage or any other kind of alcoholic drink, that's fine. Crack open a can. However, your day running in the PH12HRFC is over. Drink a beer, count your laps, call it good. Drinking a beer ends your day.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of turning in your bib at an aid station during like a 100-mile race. If you open a beer, you're telling everybody, including yourself, that your run's over.
I don't want to use the R word, but the races are close too. So the women are neck and neck, and the men are neck and neck-ish as well. So I'll definitely stick around and see what they do.
Around 4:30, with just an hour and a half to go, it looks like a woman is going to end the day with the most laps. But which woman? Sarah Dasher has taken the lead from Caroline Bartlemy, but Sarah's lead remains less than a mile, with both runners on lap 45.
She did the wide thing, which was not run in the lightning. And I was like, this is fun, this is great. So I think I was able to make up a few laps during that.
Other runners include Tom Gormley at 27 laps, Billy Oliver with 30, and Jason Seavey with 36. Leading on the men's side is PH12HRFC total laps world record holder Ben Marquardt with 42 laps, followed by former Rita Ranch 12-hour foot challenge winner Tristan Lee 4 laps back at 38. A few laps later, Caroline has tightened the gap on Sarah. They could finish with the exact same number of laps.
Year number 5, I guess. I'm going to throw up after the first one, probably. So. What a great day.
That is a good speaker.
We learned that if it comes on the last lap, it's literally whoever makes it over the line first. Yeah. Sarah and I are running together
And Bruce is like, oh, by the way, if it is tied, it's whoever gets over the line first. And I was like, I am not sprinting this to the finish, so I'm just gonna give it a little more gas on the laps in the hope that I'll be far enough ahead that it won't come down to a sprint finish for a 12-hour race.
So it will be whoever crosses the line first.
So can they leave on the last, as long as they leave by
As long
6?
as they leave before 6. If they
Whoever
both
crosses
leave,
at the end
if they
there.
both leave
Yeah.
before 6, and then it's whoever gets back here the first, it has the most laps, gets the trophy. I mean, they'll both have the most laps.
Right.
You got this. I'm just gonna keep going.
By the closing laps, Caroline has overtaken Sarah as the front runner. And on the men's side, Ben is still 4 laps ahead of Tristan. If Caroline gets back before 6 p.m., she should be able to get in one last lap. To stay even with Caroline, Sarah will need her next lap to be a 7-minute mile to get in before 6 p.m. for one final lap. Other runners have taken advantage of the unusually cool June afternoon, including Ruth, Joe, and Fernando, as well as Carolyn and the Hounds. And Jason wraps it up 3 minutes before 6 p.m. with 42 laps and 44.5 miles.
No, she's got a minute to get out. You want to do it for her?
You got 2 minutes.
Yep.
Ben's coming in behind.
Victory lap.
Watch out, you got Ben coming in right behind you. You have 1 minute, Ben.
1 minute to spare.
I decided I could probably do 25 by lunch, by 12. I had a little bit of trouble between miles 20 and 25 where I just really didn't feel good, felt kind of woozy. So I had to stop for a bit. And then after that, I felt pretty good. And then of course, the rain came, and that was just I was lucky. Because I have no problem running in rain and lightning. And I think in the end, that was why Caroline and I ended up so close together. And so I think I was able to make up a few laps during that piece. I always just kind of piece together races. I never go in with a big plan.
In the last 4 hours, I realized that Sarah Dasher we were neck and neck, like, and we were coming in around the same time, and I was like, ah, shoot, like, and I thought she was looking really strong, and so I was like, oh no, she's gonna run the whole time, and then that little spark was ignited. You know, it was overcast, it was maybe like in the upper 70s, which is like very, kind of unusual, and so I thought, well, let's just see how this plays out. In the last 45 minutes or hour, we were neck and neck, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna like kind of put the gas down a little bit and see if she catches me. And I was able to do one more lap, I believe, which I also felt like I needed. I think I was like maybe 57, 58 miles and 54 laps total, which when I say that sounds insane to me because I felt like it was 1 p.m. and I was like, oh my gosh, this race is going on forever. And then it was like, 5 o'clock, and I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's buckle down for the last few laps. So it's kind of amazing how just kind of how it flies by.
My watch. It's officially done.
Yeah, it was a lot more mileage than I was originally planning, but it was fun, so I didn't stop.
My goals sort of grew, of course, as the day went on, and I was like, maybe I can run 50 miles. And it was, well, maybe I can do 50 loops. It's for a total of 53. And then it was like, oh God, now they're building up the Caroline race. Bruce Gungle kept being like, it's going to be a photo finish. So yeah, I guess it was more competitive at the end. And she definitely made me work harder. I had no expectations of beating her. She's a very, very fine runner.
Great. Yeah, nice job. I was like, oh, she's gaining strength.
Oh, no. I would have stopped much earlier, but I was like, ah.
See, and you were like, I feel terrible. And I was like, really? Because you look strong to me.
Yeah. No, very well done. Yeah, you did great.
No, you did. But I was like deep in the washing machine.
That's what they said. They were like, there's nothing we can tell her that will change the way she races.
I was like, now I have to finish it.
Expectations were it's hard to figure with the expectations. We saw the weather go from 108 on Monday, it was supposed to be 108, to 99 with thunderstorms. The humidity proved to be the biggest beast out there. it really affected me. I was gassed. Had to walk a bunch of laps, got crampy. But it was a special day. There was a lot of people out there that were just super inspiring. You know, the one guy ran the furthest he's ever ran. Today he did 42 miles. And then the ladies were just crushing it.
At or soon after 6 p.m., we will total up laps and disperse the magic beers from the magic fridge.
Sitting on the front porch drinking in the middle of the day.
Fix the all-important unveiling of the magic beer fridge. So, let's see. How do we do? Mike, where's Mike? Where's Stuart? Last year, you figured out how to do this fast.
I don't remember.
Chris, you're going to have to help me. Chris.
Caroline and Sarah both got 5 beers, 5 trips to the
Pick a number.
They both hit 50.
Yeah.
Now, why don't you pull all 5? That'll
We
speed
did 5
things up a
numbers.
little bit.
Oh, 5 numbers. So these are numbers that match up with the green. I was like, what?
So it's kind of random. If you don't like the beers you get, or if you don't drink beer, you can trade it in for something in this bucket I just brought out, which includes home roasted coffee, just a Lagunitas IPA, and some non-alcoholic beers. So, okay, read me your numbers.
61.
61. Oh man, these are like my 2 new favorites.
34?
34. And that is another Sammy Smith's organic lager.
And if, for just this once, the run director can remember, we will also award the annual trophy or belt buckle, or what have you, to whomsoever hath completed the most laps in 12 hours, male and female.
Oh, so we have these fine awards that Bruce makes himself. I think this is a buckle that he found alongside the road someplace, and he added this nice touch of duct tape with the event name on it. And another year I got this lovely bowling trophy, which has been scratched with maybe a nail to say what the event was.
Overall winner, if I'm not mistaken, is Caroline Bartolome. And where is she? We have 2 championship trophies. I'm going to let you pick the one you want, and the other person will get the other one.
It's hard to pick.
There you go. The old top to the cookie dog biscuit jar.
Is there actually?
Congratulations, Jim. Let me give you a big handshake. Awesome run. As everyone knows, we just had like this amazing run between the top folks today, between Caroline and Sarah, and it was really cool. It was really fun to watch, and there you go.
Thanks.
Nice job, thanks. And actually, as long as you're standing there, as a result, you also received the Rookie of the Year award. Okay, and then on the guy's side, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we have Ben.
I think it's Ben. Yeah, it was Ben. He'll be back in a minute.
And so
Here.
it's those of you who maybe don't know Ben, he originally came to Arizona as a baseball player, and coincidentally enough, look at that tree.
Oh yeah!
Yes! Congrats, Ben.
Thank you, Bruce.
Nice job.
Oh man, this makes it worth it.
Let's see it, Ben.
Carolyn brought home this car. I was like, oh, golden compass, right?
Who is it, Ben?
But, I mean, nobody got totally lost today, but one person disappeared for an inordinate amount of time, so much so that his wife was kind of freaking out, and we had to send out a search party. And that was Chris Fall. So he gets the golden compass. And that's it. Everyone's free to move on.
Imagine a group of people, like-minded folks who enjoy running above all, that find pleasure in running a 1-mile loop at 110 degrees on the hottest day of the year in Tucson, Arizona for 12 straight hours.
I wanted to provide the community with just a basic kind of roots run where people could just come and run, and there wouldn't be the pressure to compete in the same way, and then you wouldn't have to pay an arm and a leg in order to do it.
The days and spending it with crazy like-minded friends doing something that most people probably think is kind of stupid. I have great memories of those days and being out here with people that I share a love of doing these wacky sort of things with.
It's crazy. That's why I like it. It just doesn't make any sense at all to do it, and that's one of the appeals of it.
It's just such a great event. There's nothing else in the town like this, you know. There are ultra running fixed time events, but this one, it just has its own special flavor. Like magic beer fridge and all that stuff is just super fun. And everybody out there is just suffering trying to get through it.
It's hard to describe to people when you tell them, yeah, we ran around in circles on the hottest day of the year for 12 hours. You know, what's not to like? You know, I just can't believe they don't get it. But in fact, the thing is, it's a social event. You know, you do a lap with somebody you haven't seen in a while, you catch up, you come back, you get a drink, and then you look around for somebody who looks like they're about to go out, and you say, oh, you want to do a lap together? Let's go. You know, and sometimes you jog the lap, sometimes you walk the lap, sometimes you jog the flats and walk the hills. You know, it's different every time. Sometimes you go one direction, sometimes you go the other. But you're chatting with people and interacting, and it's just such a great community event.
I probably ran with 15 different people over the 30 laps that I did, and that's why I'm here. So part of the beauty of the course is that there's always people running different directions, so you get to see people, you know, running at you. You get to pass people, walk with people. That's part of the beauty of the whole thing. It's the whole camaraderie of the thing.
Because of the way of the event with the 1-mile loops, you see everybody, but sometimes maybe you'll walk a lap with somebody that, sometimes it's somebody you don't even know because there's rookies every year, so maybe you meet somebody new.
I ran for 12 hours, so, but it was really fun. I had a blast, honestly, and I feel like I got to talk to a lot of different people, and it was an awesome atmosphere. So I knew I was going to have fun, but I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. This is the kind of events that makes me really love the Tucson running community, because we take ourselves seriously, but not too seriously, and that's what I feel the same way about myself. Like, I'm out here to try my hardest and like see how far I can push myself, but at the end of the day, I'm just out here to like have fun, support other people, see them push themselves, and I guess win some beer at the end too. So
I always do these races because the running community here means so much to me. It's just so much fun for me.
The fact of the matter is, for reasons I don't fully comprehend, the community, the running community, has just embraced this run. You know, people are like beating down the doors to get in, it seems sometimes. And I don't know why. It's just something I did as a quirk, because I wanted, you know, a run that was a little bit less competitive, more like the old days when you could just roll up and run, and you didn't have to pay a bunch of money out through your nose, you know, to do a kind of a fun event. And make it quirky, you know. Tucson's quirky, so anything you do here should be a little weird.
Just a really fun experience. We're real lucky in Tucson to have such a great running community that can put together a free event like this and have 43 people show up to run around a neighborhood for 12 hours in the middle of June. I mean, what a bunch of wacky folks. That's why I love it here.
Said you had
aid station was absolutely awesome. So kudos to Mark for doing that.
After all I put you through, and every time we talk, you know my heart is a lighter load. I remember how we used to walk up and down that lonesome road. Maybe I'll just go to Tucson. Albuquerque's nice this time of year. Maybe I can even lose some, but be blues in between somewhere.
Thanks for coming, you guys.